Hey there guys, Aldershot here, and today we're going to do an impression video on Sir, You Are Being Hunted, developed by Big Robot Limited and released on Steam for the regular price of $20. Now, this game was on early access not too long ago, and it's been on early access for quite a while actually, but recently it came out of early access and now is being sold as a full-fledged game. So I haven't actually played the early access. I've seen a few videos on it. I've heard my friends talk about it. I've heard some decent things about it, so I was curious. And now that's on its full release, I decided to kind of check it out. So let's explore a little bit of what the game has to offer in the way of options and menus. So, you can customize your key binding, which is pretty good. You can control, or you can enable a controller as well, which is kind of nice. Alright, so you also have fairly limited graphics options. You can set things high or low essentially. Pick a resolution, full screen or not, etc, etc. Nothing too fancy. Alright, and then you got your game options here. Field of view, we're going to change that to, let's say, 90. Yeah, why not? Let's just do 100. Done. And that's about it, alright, in the way of options. So let's jump into the game and kind of explore some of the mechanics. Alright, we already have a game started, but we are actually going to start a brand new world. Alright, and when you start a new world, you do have a choice of different classes. The biggest difference is that they will decide on what your starting items be. Alright, now the game kind of suggests you to start with the aristocrat. Alright, and pretty much gives you bare minimum as far as items concerned, just rags for bandages. But we are actually going to use the officer just so I can show off some of the game's mechanics without having to look for too much stuff. So let's do that. Now there's also a few other options here. The world is randomly generated, so you can actually change what it's generating so far. The world is made up of different islands, and these are different types of biomes, I guess. We're going to change it around just a little bit, so if we do run into different biomes, we can kind of show off more of the game. So we'll build it, and we just basically have to wait for the world to load up. Now again, this is a randomly generated world, so it will take some time for the initial world to kind of load up, but after the game actually creates the generated world, your next loading will be a lot faster. Alright, so that's good, of course, but the first time you play this game, the first time you create your world, it probably will require a little bit of patience. Now, I know this is a PC game, and different PCs will definitely run this game at different speeds and load the game at different speeds, but I'm just basing this relative to other games I've played on my PC, of course. So in relative terms to other games, even other randomly generated games, the initial loading, I should say, is a little bit long. So as you can see, it's still loading and I'm running out of things to talk about, which goes to show that it does take a little while, but it's okay. Like I mentioned, once the world's generated, your next load-in will be a lot quicker. Alright.
If you can hear this.
So when you start, you get this opening cinematic. We're actually going to skip it because we don't want to run this video too long. You can watch the opening cinematics and all the story bits yourself when you get into it. Alright, so this is the opening tutorial, basically kind of teaching you the basics. F is your use key. And this is basically where you're going to put in different artifacts you'll find around the world, and that's really the point of this game, is to find artifacts to recreate a spaceship or something like that to escape this terrible world. And when you find one, you place it in here, you hit your save progress. You can just save anytime you want, really. You don't need to find the artifact, but just saying. So this is an example of looting an enemy here. So sometimes when you find downed robots, which are your enemies, of course, or if you just kill a robot.
Discretion, sir. It might be best to run and hide, but if you have found a weapon, perhaps you can use it to fend them off. Ah, very useful. Now you can observe your pursuers while keeping a safe distance.
So that's the narrator. I'm gonna stop him there because why not? He's actually pretty well narrated. Like, he's a very good voice actor. He's done a pretty good job, that's for sure, of kind of narrating this game. It definitely adds a degree of personality to it. Alright, and we are right now just equipping some items that we've found. And the bottle and the clock basically works as distraction items. And I should probably mention that this is mostly a sandbox open world stealth game. Alright, so these work as kind of distractions. This is junk. We're going to just get rid of this. And rags are good for when you're bleeding. When you get shot, obviously you'll get, you know, you could potentially start bleeding out, and that will, of course, kill you. Alright, so we got the appropriate items equipped. As you can see, there's different weapons. It is a sort of FPS, I guess you can say. You have your rifle and your pistol when you're first starting off, at least when you're the officer class. Alright, binoculars are going to be really, really useful. They're going to help you see potential dangers ahead as you play through the game. And as mentioned before, rags basically work as bandages to stop you from bleeding if you do bleed. Now, you do have a vitality meter as well. You look on the bottom left hand corner, there is a HUD element that displays your visibility. Alright, so again, this is kind of a sandbox stealth game. So when you're sneaking, obviously you're less visible. When you're in tall grass, you're going to be much less visible as well. And next to it is your health menu, or your health bar, as well as your vitality displayed in numbers. And you do have to find food and nourishment to keep playing this game. You can die from either reaching 0 in your health or from starving to death. So there's a slight survivor or kind of genre mixed into this game as well. Alright, so let's take a look at this. This is one of the artifacts I was talking about. So we found one of them, and we are going to return to our stone here and save our progress. There you go. So now we have returned one of the artifacts with 16 left to go, and there are different artifacts in different areas of the map, and this will display what's left to do. Like C stands for the center island, and there's 4 left here, and there's the west, east, south, and north islands, and there's 3 on each one of those. So it gives you a little indicator of what's left to do. And the whole point of this game really is to find those artifacts, and there's some wildlife, as you can see. Alright, now back to what I was saying about the vitality and health. You can actually regenerate your health if you do take damage, but your vitality has to be relatively high. I think above 50 or 60% in order to regenerate your health. So it is a good idea to, you know, keep yourself nice and filled, keep your belly full of food and all that stuff. So how are we going to get resources in order to do that? Well, like in other Survivor sandbox games like DayZ, it's all about
like there's something useful in there.
Going through different houses to find useful items and food and all that sort of stuff. Now this game kind of handles you know, searching through houses and buildings a little bit differently than DayZ. You can't actually go in them. You simply just hit the use key on any door of a building, and that will open up a loot screen showing you what's in the building that you can loot. So it's kind of a quick and dirty way of going about exploration and loot finding and all that stuff. It's kind of interesting. It does make sense. I mean, if you do play games like DayZ or Rust or anything like that, and you enter a building, most of the time it's just nothing there, or just 1 or 2 items in there. So I guess the game's justification for its inventory management as far as searching buildings is concerned is that it's really just imitating what other Survivor games are doing, but through a menu instead of actually going into the building. And that will probably save them on development time and resources as well. Now we'll talk a little bit more about that down the road. Alright, I kind of want to explore the game's mechanics and features first. So we're just kind of going through house to house looking for useful items. You really don't want the junk stuff or the dubious stuff. The dubious stuff, you eat it, it will make you sick. These are kind of nice, these stones. They serve as distraction tools. And we'll explore that once we find a mob that we can kind of sneak by and all that stuff. Alright, so that's pretty good. Restores vitality, but alcohol can get you drunk, so you do have to keep in mind of that. Now, some houses have multiple doors, which means they will have different things to loot, depending on which door you kind of check. I guess that kind of represents different rooms that you can check out in the house. Alright, so we're finding some useful stuff here. Alright, so while I'm looking for useful items so I can properly show off some of the mechanics, I'm going to talk a little bit about the aesthetics of the game. Now, the aesthetics is kind of a mixed bag in a way. It looks kind of, well, mostly the textures looks kind of, well, they're not bad, they're just really low resolution, and I don't really understand why. Now, from a design standpoint, the concept and style of this game is right on point. It looks very, very good as far as design goes. You can tell from its unique look and general feeling of the visuals. The developers have put in a lot of time conceptualizing the overall design and the way that they're going to tackle it. They obviously decided on more of a toonish look. Not overly realistic, but not overly cartoony either. Kind of an in-between. I would compare it to something like Team Fortress 2 to an extent, alright? But for whatever reason, I don't know why, the textures tend to kind of bring down that aesthetics because it is blurry and is very, very low resolution. Alright, I mean, if you look at the grass here, or what's supposed to be grass, it looks a lot less like grass. It doesn't even look like carpet. It kind of looks like moldy marble, to be completely honest. Now, luckily, the level designer and the set designer have put in you know, nice objects around to keep the eye busy. The composition of the landscape is very good looking, especially at a distance. The grass looks great, the trees look great. A really nice mix between, you know, busy spots and more sparse out spots to keep the eye interested in the game. And the overall sort of concept and design of the game itself, as in how the characters look, not so much the fidelity of the aesthetics, is actually very, very well done. They've done a great job conceptualizing the overall look of the game. But again, I don't understand why they made the textures so low resolution. It is definitely damning to what otherwise would be a very good looking game. Now, the lighting is pretty good as well, although I have to say that the shadows are kind of, it's pretty bare bones minimum. It's not overly dynamic or anything like that. So overall, I feel the game from a visual perspective does a passable job. I believe the design is very, very strong, but the technical aspects of it, as in how they executed that design, could use a little bit of work. Is a little bit shoddy, to be completely honest. It is a little bit low resolution, and I don't really understand why. Now, I do understand that this game does support mods, so modders are probably going to have a field day as far as bringing up the graphical fidelity of this game, so that's pretty good. So it will definitely have some replayability because there is a mod community for this game, which is great to see. Alright, so enough about the overall look of the game. Let's actually try and find an artifact. Alright, now in order to find an artifact, you're going to want to look for smoke blooms, white smoke blooms specifically. Black smoke blooms are just they're just campfires, so you're going to want to look for the white ones, and you usually can find them at a distance. So let's break out the binoculars and see if we can find anything useful. General strategy is to kind of go around in one direction. Ooh, this might be useful. It is. And kind of explore the outskirts of the generated lands, and sort of work your way inland as you go. That tends to give you a pretty thorough look around the area so you don't miss anything. So I should probably take my own advice and do that. No robots yet, though. I haven't found any robots. Now, there tends to be more robots, and they tend to be a little bit more aggressive during the nighttime. So it is getting a bit darker, and this game does feature a day and night cycle, which definitely adds a layer of mechanics to this game as well. Obviously, it's going to obscure some of your vision, but mostly the mobs become a lot more aggressive, a lot more dangerous, and more plentiful as well. But luckily for us, I guess luckily for us, there is no mobs around. Haven't found any robot yet, haven't found any artifacts yet. Got some resources, got some food and some bottles to distract any potential mobs. Our vitality is actually kind of low, so we should probably drink up one of these things here. Local stout, a drop of sherry. Let's try that. Alright, so our vitality's increased back up to 83, so that way we don't starve to death. Although we are getting a little drunk, so that's actually kind of cool. It's attention to detail for sure. Alright. I do kind of like it when you drink alcohol in the game. Actually makes you a little drunk. You're kind of wavering around as well, which if this was a common situation would be bad, because I would actually not be able to aim all that well. I think I see a robot up ahead. No, that's just a barrel. No robots and no artifacts yet. I mean, generally speaking, this would be a good game because there's no robots around and they are nasty. They will kill you very, very quickly, and that's why stealth is such an important element of this game. But we haven't found any, and again, usually that would be a good thing, but in this case, because I'm trying to show off specific mechanics of the game in an honest way, I kind of wish there was some mobs so I can show you some of the sneaking elements. Let's actually explore this a little bit. As you explore the central island, you will find these docks, and these will take you to different parts of the map. So let's see here. This one will take us to the southern island. So let's check around there. Maybe we'll find some bots there. Maybe we'll find some artifacts there as well. So as you can see, this game is very open world, very exploratory. It really does leave it to the player to set its own pacing. Again, you're going to have to manage your hunger level, as well as your health, and finding useful items as well. I believe there is a melee weapon that I can get, an axe or something like that, but I haven't found one yet. Now, I've played this game for about 2 hours, give or take, so I'm not an expert by any means, but I think I have a general feel for it. In my main game, I have found about 5 artifacts, 5 or 6 artifacts. Oh shit, robots. Okay, so they notice us, so let's run away. You definitely don't want to go head to head with them. So grass is your best friend. Alright, so right now my visibility says I'm practically invisible. So to them, they can't see me as long as... Okay, they can see me. I was still in their cone of vision. Alright, so let's get out of this. This is a bad situation here. And let's see if we can lose them here. Alright, the stealth elements is actually pretty well designed. If you run in a general direction, even though they don't see you, they will still look or try to find you in that area. And we're about to die. Oh my. Oh well. Well, you know what? Let's actually get back to the menu and we'll load up the game I currently have, so we'll have some more stuff to explore. So we will load up this world here. Continue game. We have a few items and stuff already set for us. It is very easy to die, as you can see. It doesn't take very many shots for the mobs to kill you, so it is, you know, it can be pretty challenging. There is a variety of different mobs to catch you off guard as well. So this is our main game that I'm playing. I found a stick of dynamite. I haven't used it yet, but it looks kind of fun. Let's see, I found 4 artifacts, not 5. Close enough! So let's bring out our binoculars so we can be aware of our surroundings. I don't know what these glowy things are. Excuse me. I don't know what these glowy things are. I think they're just aesthetics thrown into the world to make it feel more magical, maybe. I actually followed one once. I actually followed two of them, and both of them led me to an artifact. I think it was just a coincidence. I don't think that's their purpose. I could be wrong, because I followed another one, a third one, and oh god, I hope that doesn't kill me. No, it doesn't. And it really just kind of led me in a wild goose chase. So I don't know what's up with that. Again, I think it's just a coincidence. I'm getting a little hungry, so we are going to take some vitality items now. There's no mobs around, so I think we can risk getting drunk. So let's do that. Alright, so you know, while we're here, why not? Let's loot any areas that we can. There is wild game as well that you can hunt, and you can find these little campfires if you have matches, which I do. And you can light it and cook your wild game, and that actually serves a lot of vitality. So you do kind of want to keep an ear out as well, because if you hear bots, it's definitely going to mean danger around, and you're going to want to be a little bit more careful. Alright. So I'm really hoping to find something before this video ends. The sound design overall is actually done very, very well. The directions in which you hear dangers and robots around is actually quite accurate, and they've done a good job at communicating distance through sounds. And you know, it's pretty good. There's no real there's not a lot of music except for during combat situations to distract you from the immersion of the game. And the open world sandbox is actually pretty fun to explore. So I'm glad they did that. It is actually quite immersive despite the shoddy textures. That's actually my biggest gripe with this game, is that it does feature you know, pretty low resolution textures. Which is a bit unfortunate, but the overall aesthetics as far as modeling and the design of the environment itself and the characters are really well done. I really do like the overall design. I just wish the textures were done a little bit better. Oh god, I didn't even notice them. Alright, they are actually really close to an artifact, so I want to grab that without dying, obviously. Now, as I mentioned, grass is your friend. Oh god, not unless a robot dog is right next to you. This is terrible. Get off me. What is going on? Oh, this is terrible. This is terrible. Can we hide here? Let's see if we can get a distraction going. Oh god, oh god. This is all bad. I'm panicking here. Use that, fix our bleeding. Hopefully we don't get shot. Alright, well, we didn't get shot. Oh, we just died. Oh, we just died. Alright, well, let's try this one more time and see if we can approach that meteor, or not the meteor, the artifact, a little bit more successfully. Okay, well, we know where it is. We know how to get there real quick, so let's just quickly run there. Alright, and hopefully we don't die as much. Let's pay attention to the game a little bit more and less on our yabbering on. Now, there are balloons, and they pretty much work as spotlights. If you get hit by one of those spotlights, it will alert bots around the area to your location, which is obviously not a good thing. Alright, now, as I tried to mention a few times now, grass is your friend. Generally speaking, you can use tall grass to hide underneath, and that will you know, that will help you get away from dangerous situations and all that stuff. Combat is generally not a great thing to participate in. You don't get a lot of ammo. Alright, you really have to search for ammo, and you only need a few shots to take you out. And you really have to aim for the headshots on the bots unless you have a more powerful gun, as they are relatively tough. So there's our area that we left off. Let's actually approach this a little bit, you know, a little bit smarter. Less Ramboing. That's not a good thing in a stealth-based game. I wonder if I can pick that mushroom. Oh, I can. Nice, but it will kill us, so we're not going to pick it. It would be nice to see if those dubious or junk items could be used in some sort of crafting mechanic. Maybe there is later in the game. I don't think there is. I'm pretty sure there isn't. but it would actually make things a little bit more interesting. Add another layer of mechanics, I guess. But overall, it's pretty enjoyable. I love the open worldness of this game. I love exploring the world that it randomly generates. I really do enjoy looking for these artifacts. All right, it usually doesn't take me too long, but you know it will require a certain degree of patience to play this game. Okay, robots are bad. I need to set up some sort of distraction. Oh, fuck! These damn dogs, they keep catching me off guard, and oh my god, this is terrible. I might actually have to fight these guys, so let's do that. I kind of want to show you guys how to approach a situation with stealth, as the last few pieces of artifacts I got was done through stealth. I distracted the robots and grabbed the artifacts, and it felt really, really satisfying doing that. But looks like this case is not going to... This situation is not going to allow me to showcase that strategy. But that's okay. We'll showcase the more brute force tactic, which is shooting them in the face the best you can. There we go. Now for the dog. Oh, God. Alright, well, in this case, you know what? Let's just run for it. Screw it. Let's just grab it and get out of here. Yes, take it, run. Oh god. Oh god. I really want to get out of this alive so I can save this, so I don't have to go through this encounter again. The dogs is the worst because they can sniff you out, and it makes it hard for you to kind of hide in the grass. So, the damn dogs again. They are definitely my Achilles heel. Alright, well, we died again, but I think you guys get the picture. It is a really enjoyable game, I have to say. I do like it quite a bit. It can be quite difficult, as you can see. Usually I'm a little bit more successful when I'm not trying to commentate and play at the same time. I tend to say these things whenever I die, when I record, but it is kind of true. But either way, it's a pretty enjoyable game. It's a little bit of a shame about the texture. The texture work could use a lot of work. It is pretty low resolution. It is my biggest gripe with this game. But other than that, the overall visual aesthetics, as far as design and composition goes with the landscape, and the character design itself is actually quite appealing. It's quite unique. You can tell these guys have put in a lot of pre-production time in concepting these kind of gadgets and gizmos before they actually modeled it, which is nice to see. But yeah, overall an enjoyable stealth game. The stealth mechanics are actually quite strong. The AI, as far as stealth goes, is actually pretty believable for the most part. Like I said, if they do kind of find you, and if you do duck out of cover and they lose you, they will still search the last area that they saw you, making it a little bit more believable than other stealth-based AIs and stuff like that. There you go, guys. That's Sir, You Are Being Hunted. Pretty enjoyable, I have to say. If you enjoyed the sandbox world, definitely check it out. So I hope you guys found this informative, hope you guys found this useful. If you did, please send me some love, like, share, fave, and comment. But most importantly, subscribe, help me grow, and feed me my vegetables. Thanks for watching, guys. Aldershot out. No! Not you again.